Welcome, fellow KISS fans. Welcome to It's All For You Demons, celebrating the fun of being a KISS fan. And before we start tonight, we just want to give our thoughts, condolences, and prayers to our buddy Dan. I've known Dan since the Huey Lewis days, sports, and our first conversation was about the I Want a New Drug video. I became best friends with Dan in 1986. BMX bikes, skateboards, Motley Crue, Van Halen, and KISS. Well, Dan had some scary medical emergencies last week, and he has pulled through, but life is short, people. Life is short, and it was a scary day, texting back and forth, and Lord willing, Dan's here, and the day after his procedure, we were texting about the new Motley Crue song, and he said he was sorry for sending so many texts, but he was bored. And I said, man, I would rather have 10 million texts from you than no text at all. And so just keep Dan in your thoughts as he recovers. Send him your prayers, send him your love. We love Dan here in this house. I love Dan in my life, and life is short. Life is short. Life is too short to worry about bullshit at work and bullshit in life. Keep your head in the clouds. Keep KISS on the radio. Love your dogs. Love your friends. Let's talk KISS. And tonight, we are talking waiting. The art of waiting when you are a KISS collector. Very early on in my KISS collecting game, I bought the KISS Coloforms set. My wife's having a garage sale outside, so if you hear girls chattering, that's it. I believe I bought this from T&T Variety in St. Joseph, Missouri. And this was my first dealing with anything KISS Coloforms. The Colorforms themselves. And the only thing I'm missing from the pieces is that little piece right there in the middle for Peter. And I've often commented that I always kind of liked the fact that this seemed like Phantom of the Park, a laboratory, a gun, KISS, live tonight, a message on the computer screen that says Get KISS, a character of the Colorforms called the Mad Rock Promoter. And so I've always kind of enjoyed the fact that this seems inspired by Phantom of the Park. And somebody left me a comment and said I was completely wrong. It's not inspired by Phantom of the Park. It's actually Phantom of the Park. And I have never read that, heard that, seen that. So I would love your comments below. I don't think this was Phantom of the Park related. The person that left the comment said I was dead wrong, and it is Phantom of the Park. But wouldn't they call the Colorforms the Phantom of the Park Colorforms? But anywho, the 1979 Colorforms set was my first ever fun of the Colorforms. 79, that's so crazy. I always associate these with like 77, 78 due to the cover. 79, I was head deep into the Incredible Hulk, Dukes of Hazzard, and Star Wars. And speaking of Star Wars, that kind of leads us into the waiting topic. When I was a kid and I collected those Star Wars toys, I wanted it all, and I wanted it immediately. You know, you got one Stormtrooper as a figure, and the kids on the commercial.
Return of the Jedi. The walking, fighting Scout Walker prepares to attack. Great Star Wars model has walking action.
And displays on the box, there were like 7 Stormtroopers, so I wanted 7 Stormtroopers because I wanted to have that same collection that that lucky kid on the cover of the box had. So my entire collecting life, waiting has been extremely hard. Insert Tom Petty. Probably like around 2010, I was on YouTube and I found a super old video of a KISS fans room. And they were going around the room, and on one of the shelves were these cartoon displays of KISS, and they were amazing. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, what are these? I've never seen these before in my life. And I screenshotted that, and I think I emailed Dan and I said, what are these? We have to find these. Doing some research, we figured out that these were the second Colorform piece from 1979, KISS Rub and Play. Enter the waiting piece of our video tonight because 8 years later, took me 8 years, I finally came upon some Rub and Play figures for the Wax Night House. fell in love with these just because they're just so Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, you talk about 1979 Saturday morning cartoons. If KISS was ever to have a cartoon, I imagined that this Rub and Play action figure set is exactly what that cartoon would look like. Took me years later to figure out that these drawings were actually going to be the third KISS comic book we got from Marvel, because these are Neil Adams drawings, rough draft drawings of what the third KISS comic book would be. But of course, KISS didn't want to sell the rights to themselves over to Marvel. Good thinking on their part, or bill a coin. So we never got a third KISS comic book, but we did get that artwork in the Rub and Play. So in 2018, I had the figures done, but no box. And the bad thing about the Rub and Play is these are a one and done toy. The Colorforms, the first Colorforms from *79, kids can play with those all day long for years, as long as they keep all the pieces on that black backing. But the actual Rub and Play, that's a one and done thing. You do that, it's over with. And so I think a lot of kids in 1979, 1980, 81 threw these things away. And now that I'm talking about the waiting of being a KISS collector, I realize it's only been 6 years, but for 6 years I have longed for the KISS Rub and Play box. I had the figures complete. I just wanted that box. That box was so freaking cool, and it is the only toy we have ever received in all the history of KISS collecting that features the Dynasty outfits. Joy to the world. 6 years in the waiting, the Rub and Play box has arrived. And the figures included were complete, however, still on the backing boards. And I apologize for that glare there, but I had to put these in protective sheets because those figures are still on the backing board, but any ding to them would totally release the figure, and I don't want that. So now I have figures on the backing board and separate figures to display in another place when I get a basement. But the loose figures are going to go above the window as they were in the original Wax Night basement, and then the ones on the backing board are going to go in my display case. But what's even more fun is inside of this box was the actual stick that the kid used to rub these figures into place, and the actual backing paper. Coolest part of this is the '79, a coin, KISS, copyright. And on the second sheet it is long ways. There you go, 14 years all together from discovering the Rub and Play to adding the figures to adding the box. The waiting, it is the bummer of KISS collecting. Never fun. You want it now, and it just eats at you. But you gotta wait. Good things come to those who wait. Thank you for hanging with us tonight and waxing a little rock and roll nostalgia, the bummers of collecting, the waiting just drives us insane. Pee-wee had a birthday this month, big birthday for Pee-wee, 10 years old, and Pee-wee, we had to do a little waiting for you as well, because when you were born on April 21st, I remember, because I was working on a KISS project that night, and I texted my wife and said the puppies have been born. When you were born, April 21st, we had to wait until June 6th to get you in this house. And we got you and your sissy, and life is good. Be good to your babies, spay, neuter, microchip, love your friends, love your dogs, love KISS. We will talk to you soon. Thank you for hanging with us tonight and waxing a little rock and roll nostalgia. Take care, be safe. We'll talk to you soon. The inmates are running the asylum.